In this segment, we're going to talk about the concerns of the self-employed and getting the respect you deserve for a mortgage. Why is it that the banks don't trust the self-employed? So it seems. I mean, you work hard to increase your business and grow your business. You have write-offs for taxation, and you try to minimize your income, and yet the bank wants you to verify your income and be able to prove something you're not capable of doing. So why is that? Does anyone have any idea how many Canadians are self-employed? Someone wanted to guess?
4?
4, very good guess, and you are the smarty.
All right.
Actually, it is 1 in 4, and the growth in that industry has been because of factories closing, corporate consolidation. The good news is that lenders are starting to realize the powerful buying force that you are and are making changes, excellent changes to help you qualify for a mortgage. They've created a much simpler application process. They may only require a notice of assessment, a copy of your business registration, including maybe a GST or incorporation papers, and that would be all. The approval process is much simpler. All you really need is very good credit, and that's really a very important perspective to maintain. Credit's a very important piece of the equation. And if you watch the segment entitled "Warning Your Credit Score Could Be Hazardous to Your Financial Health," we'll also help you with some details around that. You would also need an appraisal of your home, and that can be done for a relatively inexpensive cost. And self-declared income is also the way that they will look at qualifying you. So for example, a financial planner typically would earn $100,000 a year. That's not unreasonable, and it would have to be reasonable to your industry. Where a hairdresser trying to qualify using $250,000 of income, that's not going to fly. So again, it has to just be appropriate to your overall industry. But you don't need to prove your income, and that really is the key. So all of a sudden, it opens up a whole different ability for you to qualify for a mortgage based on that fact. And again, they will only require business registration documents and nothing else. If it's a high ratio mortgage, then there are the insurers called Genworth or CMHC, and they have a program that also allows you to use your notice of assessment and stated income. Now, the one thing to consider is that you will pay a higher insurance premium with those high ratio mortgages than you would under traditional lending. So if you have a 90% loan to value or 10% down, under traditional lending, you'll only pay a 2% insurance premium. But under a self-declared or self-employed individual, you will pay 4.75%. So what do you really need? Excellent credit. A lot of the lenders are looking at a minimum Beacon score or credit score of 700. You need a notice of assessment and making sure that your taxes are up to date and paid. They don't use the notice of assessment because they're not using it from an income perspective, but they require it in order to make sure that your taxes are paid. You cannot get a mortgage to pay for your tax arrears. An in-home appraisal will be required for what's the conventional mortgage, the 25% down payment or the 20% down payment. So they will come into your home and do a full appraisal. On a high ratio mortgage where you have less down payment than that, then the insurers will actually do what's called a desktop appraisal and be able to give you a value of your home that way. In some cases, a T1 General with a statement of business activities would also be required, but you would have already had to do that process in order to get your notice of assessment. So what do you need also? You need to have some down payment, and that source can come from equity in your own property as well as your own resources. So if you're purchasing a home and you need to have in your personal bank account, not a corporate bank account, 90 days worth of history showing that you have the adequate deposit for your down payment, or it could be in forms of investment certificates and things of that nature. You also need a copy of your current business registration license, GST return, or articles of incorporation. And in some cases, an accountant's letter also will allow you to be able to qualify.
Tracy, how long do I have to be self-employed to qualify for a self-employed mortgage?
Well, it depends with lenders. There's a variety of options. So typically 3 years. Some lenders will allow 2 years, and then if you've had experience in the same industry previously, so let's say you worked for a design company doing graphic design work, and then you decided to open up your own graphic design business. If you have a history of 2 years combined with previous industry, not necessarily registered as your own business, you could still qualify for that.
Tracy, you mentioned if we haven't filed a notice of assessment for last year, how can we get around that to get a mortgage?
There are a couple of options available to you. Based on a self-employed individual, you don't actually have to file until June of the year for the previous year, so you may have some time to still get that in. And if not, then we definitely have to get it in order to get a mortgage. There's just no way around it. They want the taxes in, they want to be able to prove that you have no outstanding taxes payable, and that's just not a negotiable item.
Tracy, I'm self-employed, but I report very little income. How can I qualify for a mortgage?
Excellent question. I have that all the time. And first of all, congratulations that your accountant's doing such a fantastic job of reducing taxes and reporting little income. There are self-declared programs that allow you within your industry to report a reasonable amount of income. And also you can use your tax return and gross up your line 150 by a percentage. Lenders use different percentages in order to also qualify for a mortgage.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you're self-employed, get the respect that you deserve and a mortgage loan that meets your needs.